Hey, and welcome to the show. This show is brought to you by Patreon members like you.
Thank you for being a Patreon member.
As a Patreon member, you get a video of the podcast that we put out twice a month.
Now, on with the show.
What's going on?
All right.
I thought it'd be interesting.
Hey, Sean.
Hey guys, how's everybody? Ooh, top fan. A lot of top fans. All right, sorry we're late.
Compressor is off.
Is it?
Yeah.
Honestly, at this point, I don't know what I got left in me.
It's all can.
So, yeah, we're late. It sucks. We'll move on. Let's just get right past it. Yeah,
What's up, Bobby?
exactly. Monday. Joy. All right, so a couple things. Right off the bat, Jason, what's going on? It's hot in here.
Huh?
It's hot in here.
Oh, of course it's hot.
Which is weird. So,
What's up, Wayne?
it's been brought to our attention that because there's a lot of new watchers, a lot of new people, maybe not here on Facebook, but more so on YouTube, that they're not up to how our schedule actually works. As far as when we do talk shows or live shows like this, as opposed to when we don't do live shows. So we thought what we'd do tonight is go ahead and get that out of the way and cover it. So for those of you that are new to the channel, we do 2 live shows a week. We do one on Monday night, which is the Facebook show right here. So if you're a Facebook person like you people are, you get to enjoy question and answers. What's up from Michigan? And then we take this show and we rebroadcast it Tuesday on YouTube. And then, well, you are in Florida, true. And then on Saturday, we do a second live show on YouTube. So there's 2 live shows a week. And of course, YouTube, we rebroadcast it. Now on the YouTube channel, there's 6 days a week that we try to do something on YouTube. So Monday,
Brooklyn.
We try to do a unique video of some sort, meaning an install diary, a review, an unboxing. So Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 4 videos that are actual videos that have to be produced. Tuesday's a rebroadcast and Saturday's a live show.
Yeah.
So that's 6 days a week of content.
Right.
That's it. That's how this channel works. So sometimes on Mondays, it's getting to be summer. I don't get time to actually edit a video for Monday because I have to do that Monday night or whatnot. But that's all there is to it.
But it's funny because it's not like we just did this last week.
No, this is like the 100th. There's
121
121 episodes of this. There's 52 weeks in a year. You could do the math. This show's been going on for almost a year and a half now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So almost a year and a half of this.
So this is not new. I don't know.
I'm sorry, 2.5 years. That's like 2.5 years of this show and it being done that way, and then almost a year and a half of the Facebook show,
the YouTube show.
So that's how that goes. Now,
Send it to them.
Yeah. So on every now and then we have a guest that can't come on to the
7 if you count the boring life.
Yeah, that's true. So every now and then we have a guest that can't make it to the Monday show. So we make a special show like we did last week where we had Directed on to talk about their cool products. And there again, whether you love or hate them, that's entirely up to you. And I don't need to know whether you love or hate a brand. That's your problem, not mine. And so, you know, we get these guys in, and it's a lot of work for us to get these guys in. And we do it live. We let you guys ask us questions, or we talk to the person, and then we rebroadcast it onto YouTube.
And sometimes,
so everyone can see it.
Sometimes manufacturers bring new products, like the last one that we did.
Yeah,
that's an awesome product. So we show you what is new in the industry. Now, as a customer,
we know most of you guys really enjoy the show because you tell us, and we appreciate that. And I'm not one to turn down flattery. I love flattery. And there again,
it's only like a 1%.
There's some of the viewers that are like disappointed because they want something more, and it's like there's only so many hours in the day. And yes, and it's like we want to make sure we get a kind of a balance of the content. We don't want to do too many live shows, but we don't want to do too many installs. We want to do some reviews. And there's a lot of things we want to get accomplished. And at the end of the day, there is a goal in mind, and that is to make it educational, fun, and entertaining. And we think we do a pretty good job at that.
And honestly, like, sometimes you guys make the show.
Oh, you guys make the show all the time.
It's just
it's not us. It's you guys. So, anyways, we thought we'd just bring everyone up to speed on how the channel is, how the channel functions. Some weeks are better than others as far as the content goes, but we try to get at least 6 shows a week.
What's up,
and
Victor?
If we can't get like 6 actual shows, sometimes we'll go on and we'll do an extra live show where we can Q&A you guys and answer questions. So we want to make sure there's always something for you guys to be entertained with.
Yeah.
And if it's not the type of entertainment you like, by all means, as you know, like with anything else, don't watch, find something else.
Yeah.
Because
like I say,
we're doing the best we can here, kids.
1% of these, like, probably they new to the show, they don't understand how it works.
Yeah. But no, that's okay. So anyways, with that out of the way, how was your weekend?
That was good. That was good.
You got some questions?
No?
I don't know what's going on. I just found you guys in the last few weeks. Been watching Mark and Doug for a long time. You guys are okay. Well, thank you. We try. Both Mark and Doug are great shows.
Oh,
and then again, I feel like now there's so much content in this field, like of car audio. Between you know, you got the big 3, which are
Jen.
Mark. I'm sorry, it's like the big 5, as I like to call them. So you got Mark, Cardio Fabricator. You got Steve Mead, who's the biggest guy. You got JP at Down for Sound. You got EXO. You got Doug. Those are the big 5 that are, you know, above several 100,000 subscribers. And then you got us little guys in the bottom. You know, Derek just hit at Old School, just went over 100,000. Quality Mobile Video is either at 100 or just went over 100. We're at like 96 something, maybe 97. I don't know.
Thank you.
So you know, we're trying. What's up, AVDC?
AVDC.
Yeah. Australia for sure. You know, you guys are killing it for us. I'm not gonna lie. I was looking at the analytics this week, and we're doing great in Australia. I mean, that's like, I was like, dang.
You told me this morning.
Yeah, it was pretty funny. So, anyways, you know, and there again, and there's a lot of little guys out there. There's a lot of guys making good content, like Jason at Stereo Kings, and Vega, and the other, I can't think of his name. There's so many other guys out there. So there's a lot of cool content. I ordered CT sound speakers, and I don't know if I want to use them. Don't know why. It was a weak moment. It just kind of happens. But no, CT sound's good stuff. It's good stuff.
What's up?
We haven't done a lot with it, but yeah, why wouldn't you use it? Go for it.
What's up, Carl from Manchester, UK?
The price is pretty good on that.
Yeah.
What do you got?
People complaining about not enough. I've never edited a video.
Yeah, trust me, you guys are reason a lot less babies in the world. Oh, you saw that today too, huh? So binge watching apparently is the reason why the population expansion in Florida has gone down. I'm not in Florida, in the United States has gone down because people sit at home and they binge watch. Ada called me today to tell me that he was binge watching the shows. Yeah. Have you guys seen the new Avengers movie yet? Yes, Haley and I went and saw that last night. Look forward to the Boring Life review of the Avengers, hopefully tomorrow. Tonight's edit for this is going to suck because we got to do it the old-fashioned way because, of course, the webcaster's just
not working.
You know, we get YouTube working and now Facebook isn't working.
Correct.
Oh my God, it's ridiculous. As far as also for the free T-shirts that we got going out, you guys should be getting notifications this week. I got to do it between show edits, so
yep.
Yeah, so they'll be going out. We've already picked everyone, so those will be coming. Thank you.
All right, so
yes.
The loudest 6.5 component for under 1K.
For under $1,000?
I mean, you can do
so many. You know, here's the deal. When you're in
loud?
that realm, it's not necessarily loud, but clean. So,
but that's why some people get confused. Like loud or clean.
So, like, you could get into K2s. You could get into the Morels. Which ones are those? I always forget.
That's the Maxim? No.
No, they're not Maxim.
That's
the Nitro.
The Alante.
The Alante.
The Hybrid.
The Hybrid. What is the Millie Legends? Of course, then there's hybrid.
We're gonna be here, man.
There's a ton to go with.
Yeah.
Really, what it comes down to at that price point is figuring out the type of sound you're going for. So if you're going for loud, you're gonna want like a metal tweeter as opposed to a silk soft tone.
Yep.
What's up, Adam? We were just talking about you. So that's something to consider. Like when you're looking at the Morel stuff, it has a silk tweeter, so that's not going to be.
But it's not loud.
It's not. No. It's very loud, but it's not going to be sharp.
No, not my loud. I like loud.
Right. Whereas like a
bright.
K2, it actually has. It doesn't have a metal tweeter. It has a. It's not a cloth. It's like a hybrid between the two. It's a very hard and rigid material that gives you a very sharp sound. Spend $600 on components and $400 on sound deadening.
There you go.
Wayne, I love that idea.
Awesome.
That is it right there. So step it down a notch. Go with some Vertus. Go with some.
You know what?
What am I thinking here? Flax. Go with some Hertz.
Milli
Pros.
$400 in sound deadening. Awesome. Yeah.
There you go. That's the way to go. That'll be awesome. Get some fast rings. Get some roadkill or whatever your choice.
Sound treatment, people. It's sound treatment.
Soft ohms for the win. Totally agree with you on that one, Bill. You know that. I'm a soft ohm guy all the way. I'm not into the harsh.
All right.
Or sharp, as it were.
What is his name?
Audio Frog G Series is another one. Good call. Yeah. Can you guys confirm that the Amp Pro in the non-Bose 2017 Chevy sums all signals to mono front rear? So how the
Or
Amp
it's
Pro...
only mono.
All right, so here's the deal. On the video, we did this in a video, so we have the video. There's 2 Amp Pro videos in the GM, one with Bose, one with not Bose. What you have is dip switch number 3. So what you do is you go ahead and plug everything in and you turn it on and you play the tuner, FM, AM, or Sirius XM. Pick one, it doesn't matter. If you have left and right, you're golden. It works perfect, move on, you're fine. However, if you just get left or right, unplug it all, flick dip switch number 3. What that's going to do is that's going to take, for just the tuner, meaning just AM, FM, and Sirius XM, it's going to sum that output channel for just the tuner. Your USB still works fine, your Bluetooth still works fine, your aux jack still works fine if it has one. Those are not going to get summed, those are going to get left and right, sound amazing, and whatnot. It is only for the tuner. That's it.
Okay, Joe, we have the love bugs all over the place, man. It's crazy.
Love bugs are funny because they were actually introduced in Florida to kill the mosquitoes.
What's that, California?
And they have become more of a problem than the mosquitoes.
All right, so Mario has a 2009 Ford Escape running 2 sets of American bass. Oh, American bass.
Okay.
That's Bob. 6.5 Neo and 2 sets of American bass Super Tweeter. And a 250.4.
Yeah.
VFL and 210s. Recently sounds good, and 22.1 sounds.
Is there a question here?
I'm trying to. An extra battery, big trees.
Get to the question.
I think it's not a question. I think it's
okay. Well, you wasted a lot of time on that question. Sounds like an awesome system for sure.
Yep.
What's your opinion on the Access DSP? My opinion on it is I wasn't thrilled with it. I didn't like it. Ada's opinion on it, he loves it. Everyone should go with it.
What?
I'm more of a fan. Yeah, he loves it. He had great results with it. We didn't have such great results with it.
Correct. It's all about application.
It's all about application is 100% of the case. So the application we ran into an issue with was the customer that bought it listens to YouTube audio, and there was way too much clipping coming from that source, and it was having some kind of an effect that it didn't like. We took it out, we put a DSR1 in, all was fine and dandy. Ada's used it in a bunch of cars and had great success with it, as well as a lot of other people have. So there again, just because we didn't have good success with it, my main complaint with it is the user interface. I wasn't thrilled with it. I don't like the way the EQ goes up and down, or you have to lock orientation on the phone and then you can go this way with it. I didn't care for that too much. I really liked the
but that was the problem, the compress.
That must be Wayne. Your opinion on the Dayton Audio DSP 408. Oh, it is.
Yeah.
That's also another good one to go with. It's 10 bands, but it's still pretty cool, and it's got, it's got similar. It's got parametric, so that's nice. Which the DSR-1 has parametric, and the DSP Access DSP is a graphic EQ. So it's 31 bands.
So Joe say, and I'm sorry, Mario say, what do I hear hissing sound from the 6.5 Neos?
So there's a couple different things that cause gain hiss, and that's, or floor noise as it were. And most of the time it's gain hiss. So you have one of your gains somewhere either in an EQ or on the amplifier itself turned up too high, meaning you're trying to get more out of it than it's capable of doing. Now if you've turned the volume all the way down and you still have, your gain is up too high. Turn the gain down. You're overloading the input of the amplifier. You're making it too sensitive. That's what causes that noise. It's Mike. What's up, Mike?
Hey, what's up, Mike?
So turn the gains down. If you turn the gains down to where the noise goes away and the volume isn't loud enough, that, believe it or not, means you need a bigger amplifier.
Yeah.
It's scary. Okay.
All right. 2015 Nissan Rogue Select. My wife only listens to the satellite radio.
Poor guy.
In the car, no CDs or music streaming.
Yeah.
She has a flip phone.
Yeah.
Really? Keeping factory deck and adding DSP 5-channel line. But what door speakers will sound decent?
So you're listening to a compressed media, and one of the compressed medias ever. I'm thinking Type R. You know, because you don't need the Sirius XM sounds tinny to begin with, so you almost want to tone that down a little bit.
Okay.
The tweeter and the R will allow you to do that. You're going to DSP it, which is what Type Rs need, so they do need a little bit of push or pull, as it were. I would say Type Rs. Check out the Type Rs.
Massive audio. Massive audio is good. Yeah.
I love big amps, especially if they are black.
Okay.
Okay. Can you add DSP to non-aftermarket systems? Basically, if I have a stock system, I can't. I see if you can find the rest of that. This is just flying by.
Can you add DSP non-aftermarket system? Basically, if you can have a stock system that you can think sound okay, but you want time alignment and EQ.
Yeah, of course.
Kicker key.
Well, kicker key would just be a plug-and-play option, but if you want to add DSP to anything, you can add a DSP to any system you want, okay? So it doesn't matter whether you have a factory stereo or an aftermarket stereo, though the aftermarket stereo is easier because all you got to do is plug the thing in. But let's say you have a factory stereo that just has 4-channel output, meaning just front and rear output. Almost every DSP out there has 4 channels of either high-level or low-level input.
Yep.
If you caught the Saturday show, we were talking about the DM608 from Audio Control. That means it's called a 608 because it has 6 channels of input, 8 channels of output. You have all kinds of options along those, like the DSR-1 has 4 channels of input. A lot of DSPs are called 808s, like the Phoenix Gold, because they have 8 channels of input, 8 channels of output. They'll take high-level and low-level input. So yeah, you can add a DSP to any factory or aftermarket stereo you want and add in time alignment or time correction or whatever you want to call it, and you can EQ individual channels. The more channels you have, the better.
The more channels, the better. There you go.
More control you'll get.
Actually, Wednesday, I was able to eliminate the gain hiss noise when I delete my audio control LCAI and went to the amp Pro.
Yes, you totally will, because you're there again. Remember, you have a gain stage in that LC8I. So now you have, now it gets fun, because you have the output of the radio going into that. Then you have to maximize the gain section there. Then you have to go into the radio and you maximize the gains there. You get like 10. You can get like 10 volts of output out of that LC8I or more, and then you know. So there's lots of gain stages. The fewer the gain stages, the better. Explain to me what is low level and high level. Perfect question. Okay, so if you have a factory radio, which we have one around here somewhere, right? I don't know where. Okay.
Anyway.
So if you have a factory radio that doesn't have an outboard amplifier of any kind, that means there's just a radio on the dash and it's powering 4 speakers. That output that powers those is the amplifier output. That is called high level because the amount of voltage coming out of that is high. So it's like 8 volts, 9 volts, 10 volts. As opposed to if you take an aftermarket radio that has a preamp section, meaning the RC outputs. those are low voltage, because what you're going to see those is anywhere between, let's say, half a volt to up to 5 volts. Okay, so those are low voltage. Now, what you have to do when you're taking that factory radio, you need to get that voltage down to where an amplifier can accept it, or a DSP for that matter. So depending on the DSP/amplifier that you're looking at, it may have a high level input built into it. So for example, like off the top of my head, kicker amplifiers, they'll take 10 volts of input into the input of the amplifier, which is perfect if you have a radio that just has under 10 volts of output. In you go, flick the switch to tell it that it's high level, if it has a switch, and rock on. Now, if you have that aftermarket radio that has those RCAs, those are going to be low voltage. Now, some factory radios with outboard amplifiers, this gets fun, have what's called variable voltage output. That variable voltage output is a low voltage variable, meaning when you turn up and down the volume on the radio, it goes low and it goes to 0, and then it comes back up to whatever the maximum output voltage is. That type of output can go directly into the input of your DSP/amplifier by simply adding in some RCAs.
It's amazing.
Or in case they keep talking about amp pros or ARs for that matter, but mainly amp pros, those take the data bus of the car, and because it's a fixed voltage output, meaning that the output of the radio before the amplifier is fixed, it doesn't go up and down with the radio, and the amp pro will plug into that if your car is acceptable and give you a variable voltage low level output. So high level is typically something that's powered like an amplified section of a radio. Low level is typically RCAs.
All right, that was awesome.
Hey, from Milwaukee.
All right, Christopher said I talked to Amp Pro on the mono tuner.
Okay, yeah.
I think the other day they thought it was all signal going mono. I watched a video about 5 times and I want to make sure I understood. Thanks so much for the knowledge, guys.
No, it's just the tuners according to...
Sorry,
we're using the phone today. Hopefully that didn't screw anything up.
Yeah.
Which one is better, the Amp Pro or the Rockford DSR-1? Well, it's not really which one is better, it's which one's going to suit your need. An Amp Pro is just going to give you a preamp section. The DSR-1 is a DSP. Not all applications for an Amp Pro are available yet for a DSR. So there's no GM application for a DSR-1. So typically what we'll do when we do a GM is we'll do an Amp Pro and some form of a DSP. DSR-1, audio control, or kicker, whoever, it doesn't matter. If you have a situation where you want to have a DSP, well, then obviously the Amp Pro is a good way to go because it will give you all that DSP. All right.
Okay, I'm gonna say this is a question maybe for Jason or Ada because they are both dealers. Focal P25S or JL, I'm sorry, 10W1 for shallow trucks. So.
Oh, you know the answer to that.
All right.
High quality, low level, or line driver. I hate line drivers. I'm just gonna tell you right now, Jason. Hate them. Not a fan. Ada says JL on that one.
Okay, there you go, JL.
Our Powerbase subs, good. I've never used them, but when we had Jeff Fox on from Powerbase, we had a lot of people chiming in telling us how much they love the subwoofers. We saw them at Knowledge Fest, and they were very impressive looking. I haven't heard a bunch of people online complaining about them. So Jason also calls for JL. So the answer to that question would be JL.
There you go, Donald Dropper. All right.
Yay.
Yeah, that's it.
That's not it. We just...
No. I mean, like Jason and...
Powerbase subs are great. Ethan is a dealer. Okay, there you go. Ethan is a dealer.
Well, we have Powerbase
we have
factory.
Could you do a full explanation on
the BXE DSP?
As you did for
on the audio control.
Yeah. But if you want to know more about the PX DSP, go to... Okay, so we did an actual unboxing and review of it where we talked about everything, showed you all the software. There's 2 videos of it. We put it in my car, so it's in the Car Stereo Lab playlist. So if you go to our Car Stereo Lab or
Car Audio Lab.
Car Audio Lab playlist, there's 2 videos on that PXE DSP. But yes, it is going to, okay, so for those of you that don't get a chance to catch the YouTube show on Saturday, what we're doing now to make it more fun is, since we talked so much about DSP, and DSP is more or less just software, we're
Thank you, Jason.
putting the monitor behind us, and we're going on, and we're showing you and explaining you some of the ins and outs and the quirks and the settings of the software, the DSP software. So the first one we did was on the Kicker DSP.
That's awesome.
The one we just did this past weekend was on Audio Controls DSP. And yeah, we're going to do the Alpine, we're going to do the Odyssey, we're going to do everyone we can get our hands on, your software. You're right, it must be hot.
It is hot right here, man, like really hot.
Well, we're also using the iPhone, there's a light right above us, we got the it's Monday, it's Monday. I've seen y'all use a Stinger non-fused power distribution blocks to run dual amps. I was wondering what was the rest?
How that works.
It's a distribution block. There's a fuse underneath the hood for the battery, or for the power wire. So when you're putting a power wire into a car, what's up with the Forza? It's phenomenal so far, the little bit of time we've actually had to play with it. But that's it. It's going to go into my car. I'm going to unplug the Alpine, and we're going to put that in.
Well,
I just haven't got to it yet.
Wayne, that's the idea, to have a video for every DSP.
We're just working on it.
Trying to right now.
Yeah.
Hey, Octavio, saludos.
Anyways, so when you're putting a power wire into a car, you run it through the firewall. The fuse underneath the hood is there for one purpose and one purpose alone: to blow in case something after that shorts out. It's not protecting the amplifier. The amplifier, if you need the fuse underneath the hood to protect the amplifier, you got problems. So that's it.
It's protecting the car.
It's protecting the car. Power distribution in the back. Most of the amplifiers we use have some form of A, internal fusing, or B, some form of internal shutdown protection. Like all Rockford amplifiers have a built-in circuit to protect the amplifier. Audio control amplifiers have external fusing. Kenwood, external fusing, and so on and so forth. Most amplifiers have some form of, not external, but fuses in the side of the amplifier. So there's no point in me to put a fuse 6 inches away from a fuse. It's not going to do anything. It's also 6 inches that's not going to protect the amplifier. It's not. Now, and there again, if I put a fuse here and an amplifier here, what's it doing? If the MOSFET decides it wants to go, it's real tiny. It's not going to pull that and blow that 60, 80 amp fuse. It's not going to do it. It's not even going to blow a 30 amp fuse. It's going to blow the amplifier. That's why the manufacturer's gone to putting fuses on the side of the amplifier. It's way safer. And there again, if I have a fuse in the back of the car, it's not protecting the wire going through the car. That's the job of the fuse underneath the hood. So power distribution blocks are what we use to distribute power to the amplifiers. That's it.
All right, Junior say, what do you think about the Epicenter after the Alpine PXE DSP for the older music with no bass?
Yeah, sure, go for it.
Yeah.
Hey, it's Chris. What's up, Chris?
What's up, Chris?
So
it's
running Epicenter?
Epicenter, yeah.
Epicenter. Okay. Everyone should have an Epicenter. Buy an Epicenter. Good grief. Just do yourself a favor, buy an Epicenter. Whether you feel you need one or not, buy an Epicenter, and you'll be like, oh, I get it now.
Chris, so we need an Epicenter.
Everyone needs an Epicenter.
What do you think about...
No, sorry, go ahead. No, go ahead.
What do you think about... No. Is running a zero gauge overkill for 600 watts system?
Okay.
No.
So, okay. One of the things that I'll tell you straight up is, in my mind, you'll never have enough money, and you will never have a big enough power wire. Plain and simple. One of the life's truths. Bigger the power wire, the better your life is.
Yeah.
Okay. Remember, that is the hose that drives the amplifier. So if you put in a zero gauge, there's less resistance in there to cause any issue.
Yeah.
Run the biggest wire you can.
Yeah.
People used to ask, why don't you run a zero gauge? Why run dual 4 gauge? Because dual 4 gauges are better.
Okay, what do you prefer? Active or passive?
Me personally, I like active. Customer-wise and nightmares, I like passive. There again, minutia here. It's very minutia.
All right. How many? Okay, Fernando. How many margaritas do you have?
The other thing to keep in mind about passive is that It's not a bad thing. It's not a bad word. Manufacturers put a lot of time and money into designing these crossovers. Sometimes the crossovers are too, like you buy a $700 set of speakers. That crossover is like $150, $200. So they put a lot of effort into that to make sure that it makes those speakers sound amazing. I do like Biamp. Yes, I do.
Yep.
All right, go ahead.
No, actually, I didn't drink alcohol at all yesterday. Nothing.
Why would you do that? When you have an LC7 in front of an 8 audio control, 1.300 and a 4.300, where would you set the AccuBass levels? First off, I wouldn't have an LC7i in front of those two amplifiers. They have the same high level functionality built into it. If you there's no the 1.300 doesn't have AccuBass because it doesn't have a sub-dot, but AccuBass is not anything I can tell you where to set it because you have to listen for it and turn it down. So best thing is turn it all up and then find your knob, and then yeah, it's a really hard thing to set. If you can tolerate it, we do have a video on an LC2i that we kind of walk you through how to set up AccuBass.
All right.
It's an older video. It's in the audio control playlist, so I'm sorry. We were kind of dorky in the beginning of it, but the video itself will help you out.
All right, what do you prefer? 2 amplifiers, 1 for mids, 1 for subs, or a 5-channel amp?
If I can get a big enough 5-channel amp, I go 5-channel amp every time.
Yes.
It just cuts down on the amount of crap I have to put in a car.
Yeah,
Space, power wire, distribution, the whole 9 yards. It just cuts down on all that fun stuff. So if I can go with a big 5-channel, I go with a big 5-channel. Or a 5-channel that works. Like out of frame here, there's a Jeep. And we just got done putting in the Rockford T1005 and up in the kick panel. It looks real sexy. No, we didn't film it because why? And that's a perfect thing. We're putting one P312 in it. It's like, how much power is it for one sub?
600.
It's like 600 watts.
2 ohms or 1 ohm?
Yeah, it's got constant power on it.
Power.
It's freaking awesome for that. It's 400 by 4. It's really nice.
All right.
Oh, there was a question I wanted to answer.
Hang on. Donna will say, you guys rock. Ethan from Soundwaves.
Yes.
Ethan is gonna do his RAM 2019.
Okay,
that's
cool.
awesome, man.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Should have Ethan talk to iData before that happens because they have something for that.
Okay, so they say Epicenter before or after the DSP?
Before, after the DSP. Goes DSP
After.
Epicenter
Yes.
amplifier. All right, what is an Epicenter? That was it. That was the question. Someone says, what is an Epicenter? We keep talking about it. For one, go watch a video on the Epicenter. It'll answer that. It's on audio control. For two, until you watch that video, an Epicenter is a harmonic restoration device focused around bass. So the original intent for the Epicenter, thanks to Chris, was back in the day they needed something because when records were being recorded, that's how far back audio control goes, okay? It wasn't just a car audio company. They make home audio too. In order for the records not to skip, a lot of times what they do is they EQ out the sub bass because they didn't want the records to skip.
Okay.
So an Epicenter was designed to go back. It was harmonic restoration. They invented that circuit to go in and add that back into the record. Okay, because it takes sound from up here and moves it lower down here. Kind of a re-equalization. They call it restoration. So with an Epicenter, it allows you to take things like rock, Latino music, like I like to call polka Latino music.
Yeah.
Anything that has that dry, non-exciting bass. And because it's bass, it will shift it and restore it and make it fat sounding again. So we've got a couple videos where we actually demo it. There was one in a Camaro that we did not too long ago, like a month or two, red Camaro, where we show the effects of Epicenter and not Epicenter. So yeah, we have, it's really nice.
Yeah.
Dean, was messing around with the Alpine PXE 09 high-res DSP software. Do you know if Alpine will release something?
I've released an update for the BX 850. That one.
Probably not. Alpine isn't big on releasing updates for anything. And when they do, it's like hush hush, don't tell nobody. But they have released some updates in the past, like on a 207, the ILX 207, they released an update for that, which really was a big improvement for the 207, so anyone that has a 207 should do that. And then they released an update for the W650 that just came out because there was an inherent flaw in the unit that they needed to fix. But most of the time when it comes to Alpine, no updates. The other thing too to keep in mind about the 0850S is that radio, that DSP has actually been in the marketplace for 3 years already. This is the second year that's been in the United States, but it was in Europe for years before it made its trip over here. So if there was anything to be done to it, it would already be done. So if it doesn't do something that you know, like my biggest complaint about that is the Bluetooth software in it is old and it sucks, so it sounds like crap. So I never use the Bluetooth. Only to set it, like I'll do some quick adjustments on the phone, but I prefer to plug it in and use the laptop. It's way easier to use plugged into the laptop.
All right. Let me see. Do the Rockford Mini T amplifiers do well with the K2s?
Have we ever run those on K2s?
Not in the K2s.
Have we? Oh, no?
No, not in the K2s. We put the flags.
We did the flags.
We did the flags, not the K2s.
Yeah.
I don't think...
So yes,
I mean,
okay. Well, all right. So if you had a set of K2s,
okay,
all right, and
you grab the 4-channel,
and you grab the 4-channel,
yeah,
so if I was doing it, this is what I would do.
Okay,
I would grab depending on the system. So let's say you came to me and you say you want to do a set of K2 components.
Okay,
all right, K2 components crossovers by Ampable. So I would buy. Okay, somebody gave me an angry face. Why an angry face? I would put the 404 on tweeter and rear. I take the 402, go on mid, 402 on mid because it has more power, and then I do the 750.1 on the subs. Or I would buy the 1005 and the 402, and I would put tweeter, rear, 402 on mid, same thing, and then that 600 watts on sub.
A lot of love.
There you go. That's what I do.
There you go. Okay.
What was
name me a 5-channel amp can power 2 Rockford P3s and a Focal flags and a Bose 2-ohm coax.
Okay, so I don't know the Bose 2-ohm coax
for
the rear. Yeah, no, okay, so real simple. I would do the, my favorite 5-channel amp right now is the Audio Control.
Yeah, but that's
Let me finish.
Okay.
It's still a 5-channel amp in my mind.
No,
I do the D4.800 and the LC 1.800.
Okay.
That's going to be the best 4-channel amp.
Yeah.
No, the AC 12.600, not enough power. So that's what I would do. I'd do that. I would do the D4.800 with the LC 1.800. Right now, that is the biggest, baddest 5-channel scenario. I know it's not one amplifier, but the amount of power you need, that's what you want. Yeah, there you go.
All right, can both speakers sound good when connected to non-Bose amp?
What do you mean? You mean if we have like Bose
like a factory ones? I don't think so. No.
Factory Bose speakers suck anytime you're trying to do anything with them other than take them out.
That's 2-ohm.
Well, it's also a floating ohm load. So, I mean, I don't want to use that Bose speakers for anything. The audio control amplifiers will play 2-ohm all day long. They're 2-ohm amplifier. We beat that horse all day Saturday. But, I mean, that would be the best option right there. Yeah. The 61200 isn't enough to do the subwoofers. So,
all right.
Thanks for introducing you to Ferals. You're welcome.
There you go. If I use the audio control DM608 Epicenter, and a Rockford Fosgate T1005.
Okay.
Do I use the AC3 on the DSP for the bass level control? If you're not, where should I connect it? That's the bass. I mean, yeah, you can use it in the 608 and the DSP. But it's not the T1005 has a bass knob?
Has a bass knob input.
Yeah.
But, so I'm just trying to, okay, so I'm rationalizing this in my head right off the bat. I'm still trying to figure, so you're going to have 2 bass knobs is essentially what it comes down to, because the Epicenter has the effects knob, and then you're going to need your subwoofer level control. Yes, they used to be half ohm, and they still suck.
Yep.
Yes, factory Bose speakers suck. I do not ever amplify factory Bose speakers. I just take them out. You can buy a set of $50 speakers that would just destroy them, and it's not worth it. So, anyways, You're going to have two knobs, and honestly, it doesn't matter where you plug in. So whether you do it at the amplifier or you do it at the DSP, it's not going to matter. It's going to be the same effect. It's turning the subwoofer up and down.
Yeah.
I wouldn't lose any sleep over it. I'd just use whatever subwoofer. I'd use whichever one's cheaper, to be honest with you. Yeah, that's where I go with that. How hard is Dodge to replace with an aftermarket radio? Really just depends on the year. For the most part, if they make a dash kit and a wiring harness, it's not hard at all. It's when they don't that sucks. Any theories on why most 5-channel amps have small sub outputs? Because the power supplies can only be so big. That's really what it comes down to, is the power supplies can only be so big. Now, with that being said, you got 400 watts for highs, you got 600 watts for sub. PDX V9, 110 watts for highs, 500 watts for sub. One day, someone might make an amplifier that has like 110 watts and 1,000, but it's going to need a really big power wire input. It's going to need a really big power supply, probably 2 power supplies. Is the it's not Hyphonics. Is the Phoenix Gold 5-channel or 6-channel?
It's a 6-channel.
6-channel? Okay, so that stinks. Dean, what 5-channel did you say is the biggest right now?
Well, no, your favorite 5-channel.
My favorite 5-channel is the D4.800. It's 2 amplifiers. So it's the D4.800 audio control paired up with the LC 1.800. LC 1.800. They can mount side by side next to one another. They both take a 4 gauge. So if you run a 0 gauge to a distribution block, plug them in, one plugs into the other. It's about this big.
Almost like the 600.
It's plenty of power. It'll do anything you want it to do. So that's my favorite 5-channel until someone comes out with something better. Now, if you just have to have a 5-channel, PDX V9 is definitely something to get excited about because it's 110 and 500 by 1. Yeah, that's really about it. Most 5-channels nowadays, we actually make them 3-channel.
Macintosh 4x100.
Oh, come on, the Macintosh doesn't exist
Memphis
anymore.
Bell. Okay. Somebody asked if you we used to if we sell Memphis.
Yeah, we don't.
We used to.
We used to. We don't
Not
anymore. I need to start saving money to replace the Bose speakers.
Yes.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
I guess I'll stick with my JL
400.
V4.
The JL is good.
Yeah.
The JL is good.
Yeah,
and the Rockford T.
Yeah.
If you want like really power for the subs, audio control make the 1500.
He's got a 15. You don't swap out a 15 for a 15.
Why not? It's 15.
Just so if you guys didn't catch it, on the 20th of this month, we're gonna have Chris Bennett from Audio Control on this show.
Chris.
We will be talking about some new products that might be interesting for this conversation. Light.
Mine.
Blinking. I had a SoundStream Tarantula 5-channel. Love that. Was putting supposedly 750 at 1 ohm. Now, don't get me wrong. There are plenty of big
amplifiers,
big 5-channel amplifiers. What you have to do is you have to have a 5-channel amplifier that, for one, has to be expensive. There's no other way to hide that because what you don't want is when that big sub side is hitting that the mids and highs die. So that's why you have to have a giant power supply and a lot of current coming into it because it sucks otherwise. Does the Kicker IQ 1005 have something? No, it does not have that is only on the XR amplifiers?
No, the KX.
Only the KX have that.
Yeah. It's similar. Yeah. Like
KX amplifiers have it. The Q Power does not. Jeff's watching.
I wish the audio control DSP had parametric EQ.
So, here's the thing.
What's up, Jeff?
When it comes to designing a DSP, which Jeff can attest to because, he's had a lot of fun playing with the Phoenix Gold. That's his baby. When it comes to the Phoenix Gold DSP, Jeff Smith, that's his baby. He loves everything about that. It was designed around him. It does everything that an SQ guy like him wants to have. But if you're not an SQ guy, or sometimes when you don't know what you need, it's hard. Audio Control wanted to come out with software and a DSP that you could hand to anyone and they could immediately get it, put it in the car, and understand right away what they're doing with it, okay? So the learning curve was reduced drastically, whereas some of these higher-end DSPs, you got to sit there and go, whoa. And I'm with you. I wish it had a parametric EQ too. I'm not defending that, but the idea why they did it was because that adds one more layer of confusion to the product, and they didn't want that. They wanted to keep it so that it's like, it is extremely well thought out, and it's software that isn't like anybody else's. And that's like what we're showing you when you guys are watching this. It's nothing like the Kicker. It's going to be nothing like we're going to show you this week. They're not the same. They wanted it to be simple, and it is. And it allows you to get in there and do a tune and make it sound good without killing time.
I wish our audio controller had a parametric.
Well, I was reading.
Yeah. That's
But hey, one day maybe they will. Maybe they'll come out with an 810 Pro or something like that adds in all the difficulty. What do you guys think of Scar Audio? I'm debating getting a few 12s from them. We use them all the time. What is it? The VVX.
The VVX.
The VVX. We use the VVX a lot. The ZVX is if you want the big guys. I'm not a fan of the
They just come out with
DMX or DNX or whatever the heck it is. Yeah. I don't like that one.
They just come out with a new one here.
DM810 DSP audio control. Yes, it is. So there, yeah.
Is Dodge hard to replace?
Yeah, I got that one.
Okay. Yeah, that's awesome.
Is it?
Yeah.
It's been so much fun.
It's
been a fun day.
Let's see how many minutes we have.
I wish only one thing. I just want an input. Yeah, DSP. I understand. DSPs are all about the UI. Find one that's easy to use, and that will work. Hey, who says that all the time?
Exactly.
This guy. And that's exactly true.
Yeah.
And that's why, on the Saturday show, we're trying to make it all about maybe clicking. You might see that and go, "Ooh, that's cool. I like that. Let's get that."
Like we always say, you can download the software, start playing with. If you are actually comfortable with the software, there you go.
There's times I want serious time alignment, clean sound, and EQ bands for days, and then there's days I'm sure it says I don't. And you're right. I mean,
lugs away.
Sometimes when you're sitting in the car, I love my Audison DSP.
There you go.
There's the Godfather DSPs right there. Like I said, we have the Forza sitting over there, playing with the software on that compared to playing with the software in the old days. The Forza is way cooler software, man. It's very well thought out.
They actually upgraded.
Yeah, and there's a couple features I wish it had, and that's the thing. I feel like there's no perfect DSP software that I've played with yet. Not my favorite. Yeah, and that's why, for us, it's like we want to play with everything because... And when we get a chance to talk to the manufacturers, like when we were talking, I was talking about the Forza software. I was like, well, how come when you roll over, it doesn't expand that out? And he's like, because, man, we're not software engineers. We're getting there. And I'm like, that would be cool, as if, like you have a bubble. It's like, how come basic software, and they're like, because it's not what we do. And I'm like, well, it should. Just like I complained to them that it's like, hey, how come it's not Mac compatible yet? Or an iPad or anything like that? And they're like, because... and it's like, well, everyone else's is. I mean, when you look at, like, let's look at the Phoenix Gold. Mac, Windows, iPad, audio control, Mac, Windows, iPad. Alpine, Windows, iPad or iPhone. Audison, Windows. Moscone, Windows. One of them has Arc is like Windows and some maybe soon. Android. So,
all right. Let me see. That was a good question right here. If you were to use an audio control Epicenter with a Kicker IQ 1005 and only have 2 inputs, rear channels only, do I split the high-level wires or use the RCA outputs from the Kicker IQ 504 from inputs through the Epicenter?
So if you're going to be doing just one set of inputs, you're going to have to wire them on the outside. So an Epicenter has to have its own input and output, okay? Otherwise, the whole amplifier will be Epicentered. You don't want that. So if you only have a single set of RCAs coming back, you're going to wire them off. So like if you just have rear going in you're going to wire the rears off, go through the epicenter, and then into the amplifier, if that's what the question is.
Okay, so did we have how we set the gains with the meter?
Yeah, the Lumi.
Yeah. Okay. So okay,
it's in the tool time playlist. We have how to do it with the Lumi.
There you go. So if you don't have a DD1, you can check that video, and they will show you how.
I wish if you have a crossover, the EQ would only be available for those frequencies. Ooh, yeah. Oh, that would be so cool. I'm with you on that because sometimes that irritates the crap out of me.
Yeah.
It's like they'll put the overlay on, and it's like, so what a lot of manufacturers do, or some manufacturers, when you set the crossover, will give you the crossover overlay on top of your EQ.
Uh-huh.
And the idea behind that is you really only need to play with the frequencies that are in that spectrum, meaning, but it would be nice if they just deleted those other ones, because it's like, just take them away. I don't need them. But the overlay, like the Alpine does an overlay, the Kicker does an overlay. It'll overlay the crossover onto the EQ so that you know you don't even need to worry about those because they're not there. Lumi works awesome. Lumi does work awesome. How do I bypass parking brake on a Kenwood?
Just
ground the green wire. That's the easiest one there is.
Exactly.
So the Audison does that. Does it?
Yeah.
Okay. There again, I haven't dug too deep into. Well, I've only dug into the Forza software. I'm not going way back into the Bit 1, Bit 10, all those guys. I'm done with those. I don't like them. I downloaded a few DSP apps now, figuring out what one to buy.
There you go. Exactly.
When
we're using the Epicenter with the IQ, I need to use the Kicker IQ 5 channel.
No, the only reason you go with the little brain box is because
the hub.
The hub is if you want to do Bluetooth into it, because it'll allow you to do Bluetooth calling, but that's only, and it'll allow you to control it from the from your iPad.
Yeah.
With the hub. But if you're just going to be Bluetoothing into it, I could see where you would have a problem if you're just going to be using Bluetooth into it, because then you couldn't do an Epicenter.
Mm-hmm.
That would be the only problem.
Yep.
Mine is the old Bit 1. And there you go.
And
there again, I have no problem with the Bit 1. It just, for me, it was like when I was working with it, drove me crazy, and I just haven't had time to go back and play with it more. Rockford ever fixed the 360 quirks? No. And will they ever? Probably not, because they've just moved on to the DSR-1. So
engine noise right front only. Why? Maybe bad RCA?
Bad speaker?
Bad speaker? Bad ground?
Sorry, no bass knob for the 5-channel amp. Maybe. So engine noise and one speaker. So here's what you need to do. First off, you need to make sure it's that speaker. If it is just that speaker, no, the 1005 has a bass knob. It comes in the box. It controls up to 2 amplifiers. You can actually control multiple subwoofer amplifiers with it. Yeah, it's in the box. There is one. 360 is trash. Would agree with that. What was I talking about?
About the noise.
Oh yeah. So what you want to do is go to the output of your amplifier and flip the speakers. So first off, you could try flipping the RCAs and see if it changes sides. If it doesn't, it stays in the same one. Go ahead, put them back, and flip the speakers and see if it changes sides and goes that way. That might mean you actually have a bad amplifier. If it stays in the same speaker, chances are good you may have a bad speaker. You may have a short in the voice coil of the speaker that's going to ground. So there's that. But yeah, just start flipping, flip-flopping inputs and outputs. Every once in a while I hear a thump or a rumble from my subs like a bad ground.
I attach the ground to the factory ground spot and even clean the surface. It's a good metal content. Any ideas? Let me ask you if you have a Pioneer.
Well, a thump or a rumble though, a Pioneer just gives you a turn on thump, but it never gives you a rumble. So it could be if it so bass knob. If it has an 1/8 inch bass knob, make sure that it's plugged in both ends and that it's not loose at all. Because if you have a loose bass knob, you could get a rumble there. 2, make sure all your wires are tight. Okay, just because they look tight doesn't mean they are tight. So go back in and make sure. What I like to do pre-ferrules, before we start using ferrules, is I go ahead and I grab the power wire and I would pull it after I screwed it in. If I could pull it out of the amplifier, it's not in. and do that to all your wires. Make sure that's good. Go back to the subwoofer terminal if it's got a speaker cup. Make sure the speaker cup is good. But check all your connections. The other thing too, check your RCAs. It could be a bad RCA and you're actually hearing the loose RCA behind the radio or at the amplifier, or possibly an RCA is pinched. Sorry, I meant with you. So there's that.
Okay.
When using the Epicenter, do I need to use the kicker IQ? Yes, you do, because the Epicenter is not a volume control for the subwoofer. It's an effects knob only. So essentially that is my one, really guys, with an Epicenter, is that you have an effects knob and a volume knob for the subwoofer. The bass restore from WaveTech, that's the one thing it has that the Epicenter doesn't. That was the one thing when they were here, we're like, could you guys fix this? I'm guessing it's
Jason.
time.
Yeah,
Keeper of the time, Jason.
So. Yeah,
thank you, because we don't have a clock, so thank you so much.
Jason.
Patreon is a place you can go and find. You can support the show. You get a video podcast. Just put one up last night. I think one went up. I'd like to apologize too, by the way, because today's show, the video we put up had no audio. I was falling asleep while editing it, so I mean, it was amazing that I got it out.
DNF tool drawer is where you can find all the tools that we use in the show, and like you guys know, Teesprints.
/store/5 stars where you can get your shirt is like, yeah.
Well, man,
we got a bad batch of shirts. And with that, you guys have a wonderful week. We will see you guys back here on YouTube. Hopefully, if this thing wants to work, it'll be fun. It'll be great. You guys have a wonderful week.
See you guys later,
See you guys later. Bye.